Kia ora koutou, ko te aho haramai. Welcome to today's Makerspace. We're going to be doing some snackable science today. We're going to be making some cookies and we're going to be looking at chemistry. I'm going to send you off for some quick brain teasers before we start, and then we will be back to make our cookies. And all you're going to need is some flour, some sugar, some butter and some optional choc chips. Well, welcome back. I hope you enjoyed those brain teasers. It's now time to make our cookies, which I'm really looking forward to. And of course, there's a little bit of science and chemistry in there as well, with both the ingredients that we will be using and testing and the temperature of our oven. So let's make a start and let's have a look at what you're going to need today. So the first thing we need to do is actually to preheat our oven to 180 degrees and prepare a couple of baking trays just with baking paper on them. Next is a process called creaming, and we're going to cream butter and sugar. So we've got 225 grams of butter and we've got 110 grams of caster sugar. So pop those in a bowl and we cream them together with a wooden spoon as shown. Now we need to add 275 grams of plain flour, which is also called all-purpose flour. It's not self-raising flour. So in that goes. I'm going to give that a gentle stir to start with. The final dough will look a little bit like this. Now we need to divide it up into 4. You could use scales for this if you wanted to, but we're just going to use our side. Divide it in half and then divide it in half again. Take your baking powder, and we need to add 1 tablespoon. So baking powder is a raising agent. So what we're going to expect to see is these biscuits looking a little bit cakey compared to the other ones. It's going to get a little bit messy, so I'm going to transfer it back to a larger bowl. That's looking pretty good. And we're also going to add a handful of choc chips. Like so. Now, let's clean up this area for a little bit. Now we're going to take our baking tray. We're going to divide this mixture into 4 balls. So divide it in half and then divide it in half again. Roll it into a ball and place it on the baking sheet. I'm just going to press them down slightly. And they are going to go into the oven for 15 minutes. Side by side with them, we're going to add some extra flour to one of our other mixtures. So we're going to add another tablespoon of plain flour to this mixture here. And again, we'll transfer it to the larger bowl so we can mix it. And we'll add some more chopped chips as well. Take your other baking sheet and we'll do the same thing. So we'll divide it in half and divide it in half again. So we have 4 balls. So just so I remember which tray is which, I'm going to mark B on this tray. That will be to signify baking powder. And I'm going to put extra here, and that will signify extra flour. I'm going, as we say, I'm going to put these both in the oven side by side and see what happens after 15 minutes. We'll be back then. So it's now been 15 minutes. So we have our batch that had the additional baking powder and our batch that had the extra flour. We'll be able to taste these a bit later on. But now it's time to have a look at our other set of cookies. So I'll just pop these aside. So take our next 2 samples of dough. And for these ones, we're going to add the chopped chips to both of them. But we're going to do something different with the temperature this time. The baking tray. Again, we're going to divide it into 4. Let me press it down. I'm going to put these in the oven for 15 minutes on their own. Prepare the last batch of cookie dough exactly the same way. This time though, we're going to increase the temperature of the oven by 20 degrees. Give the oven time to warm up before you place the cookies in, but reduce the cooking time to 10 minutes. So here are our last 2 batches of biscuits. I might have expected these ones which cooked at the higher temperature over a shorter time to have spread a little bit more, but they didn't seem to do so on this occasion. I think perhaps if we'd have had a little bit more butter in them, that might have made a difference. And I've burnt them a little bit as well. And these are our cookies which we just baked at the regular temperature. Let's put them all on a plate together and see what you think. So which biscuits did you prefer? Well, thanks for joining us today. I hope you enjoyed making the cookies. I hope you enjoyed eating the cookies and look forward to seeing you next time. Ka kite anō.